So let's talk about the Nintendo 64 emulator that Nintendo themselves run on the Nintendo Switch. And one of the biggest problems that this service, if you will, has, one of it being its price point. And honestly, I'm not going to defend it. However, I will say at $60 a year, if Nintendo would have had the entire US, Japan, and Europe libraries of N64 games, and you were able to access the entire library, and it was $60 a year to access whatever Nintendo 64 game you could think of. This includes Animal Crossing, which was an originally released on the N64, just not here in America. We had to wait till the GameCube. But including that game, man, I could see that being a very decent price, because now for $60 a year, you're getting access to the entire catalog, region free. No region lock here. Region free. You're getting access to games you may have never even heard of. And at $60 a year, that's kind of a hell of a steal. Now, whether you like or hate the Nintendo 64, your personal preference, doesn't fucking matter, because at $60 a year, you can't even get access to half of the library these consoles have. And I would gladly pay $60 a year for game preservation, especially when it comes to my favorite fucking console. And my favorite console is the Nintendo 64. I'm not paying Nintendo $60 a year to access its personal top 10 when I already have Mario 64 to play, when I've already got a emulation device that can play Nintendo 64 games. You want me to pay you, Nintendo? Then make it worth the money. And that's where the conversation should remain. How can Nintendo make the N64 subscription costs valuable? Well, what if they had the whole library? What if you could play the entire library of Nintendo 64 games for $60 a year? That is a hell of a steal, considering how hard some of these games are to find. If you're telling me for $60 a year I can play any of the titles, it doesn't matter which one comes to my fucking head. If I could play Clay Fighters 63 and a half, which was an Blockbuster exclusive. It's kind of hard to find right now. Clay Fighters is up there in the pricey range. Killer Instinct. You're telling me I could play Mortal Kombat 4. You're telling me I could play Mario Kart 64, Mario 64, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Smash Bros. You're telling me I could play all these games and I don't have to pay a mom and pop store or a reseller or anything, or worry about it being fake. I can access this for $60 a year through the Nintendo N64 service. That's a very good deal. Again, a lot of these games are expensive, especially look at the Super Nintendo games. Earthbound, a very popular I almost said N64 Super Nintendo game, a very popular Super Nintendo game, goes for the same price as a console. That game alone runs about $250, and that's for just the fucking cart. For the cartridge alone is over $100. You're telling me I could get access to these games for a small fee? I would gladly take that. But again, I'm not paying Nintendo for their Nintendo 64 thing, because the value isn't there. They didn't put every single game that they have for the N64, which you can get right now for free through emulation and ROM sites. You can get every single fucking N64 title under the sun for nothing. And I'm saying that if Nintendo... The hell just happened? Okay, I don't know what just happened. My phone went stupid, and I'm doing this on my phone, this recording, so chill. Anyway, if they offered the entire library of N64 games through their N64 emulation, which is the Nintendo Switch Online service, that would bring some value to that particular service. And I don't think a lot of people would argue that. You cannot get access to a lot of content from PlayStation alone when it comes to that generation for that price. You just can't. For $60 a year with PlayStation Now, you have access to PS3, PS4, and maybe a little PS5 here and there. But if you're telling me for $60 on Nintendo that I could get access to the entire Nintendo 64 library because Nintendo offered it, I would pay Nintendo $60 for that. But right now, it's not worth it. Right now, it's not even worth the money if they made it a monthly subscription. Meaning, hey, you want the $3 a month for the single plan? That's fine. We're gonna raise it up to $5, and you get the N64. I would probably make the jump, but I would be like, it's not really something that you would need to do. I would do it for it being a couple of dollars, and the fact that it's a legitimate a couple of dollars. I've bought in games. I've paid for games that are $5 to $10, and I don't expect them to be anything more than a time killer. Meaning, I don't expect them to be good. So when they are good, it's a bonus. So paying $2 more per month to get access to N64 games, I could justify that a hell of a lot easier than justifying or trying to justify this service existing and being $60. Again, if they had the entire catalog and entire library to not only the regular Nintendo, the NES, but the SNES, the N64, and the Sega Genesis, this would be a different conversation. Because unless you own emulators, unless you are running an emulation device like an Ambernick, and you have a 256 to 500 gig SD card that you just threw in there, and you slammed it packed full of every game that you can emulate under the sun that it can run, I mean, there's just not any value here. There's really not. Look at the games they've chosen with this service. None of them stand out because all of them are the games you would expect. Except for whatever that game was. Win something 64? Break 64, some weird ass cop game that came out of left field and out of nowhere. I thought for some reason not for some reason, obviously, because that game is not that important when you consider Smash Brothers. I consider it kind of an insult that they chose that one versus Smash Bros. When Smash Bros. Is a much more valuable source of recognition. 2, it's much more respected in the Nintendo community. And 3, it's just a bigger game in general. And they didn't go with that game. I felt that was kind of disrespectful to Nintendo overall, but also just in general to the people that you're trying to get to buy this service. You tell them that a game like Smash Bros., which you just released the very last DLC character, and you say that a game that nobody's really ever heard of means more than a game that is so mainstream that even PlayStation and Xbox players who keep going at each other can calm down just enough to recognize is a really fucking amazing game. You dig what I'm saying? Whether you like Nintendo or not, it doesn't matter. Smash Bros. Is above Nintendo, if you ask me. Because it's not just Nintendo characters, man. We have Solid Snake, a representation of gaming from the 80s. Mega Man, Sonic, all these characters. It's a gaming game. That's the one thing Smash Bros. Turned into, and I think is a great thing. But the fact they took a game like Windbreak 64, which I want to say is the name of that game, I could be wrong. They chose that game over Smash Bros. And I get Smash Bros. On Nintendo 64 is a different game. It's not the same, and the game is different now. It's grown. But to have its origins be just it's that's the system that started it all. N64 is responsible for the 3D Mario Kart, for the 3D Smash Bros we have now with Smash Bros Ultimate. If it wasn't for the N64 game, it wouldn't be here today. And they just didn't put it on there. It's unfortunate, and again, a good reason to skip out. So right now, as it stands with N64 and unfortunately with the Nintendo online service, it's just not a value. Dude, I got more games from not only the N64, but even the Sega Genesis. I didn't even touch the Sega Genesis ROM patches on my Ambernick. I haven't played with those or anything. Literally just played Sonic for an hour one night. I mainly stay playing PlayStation, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, regular Nintendo, a couple of the Capcom games, because I don't know what the hell that's on there for, Capcom 1, 2, and 3, because it's just PlayStation 1, Nintendo, shit like that. And it's games that I would recognize if they just do them on the console that I recognize them on. So until I see Nintendo put some effort, and I feel like the same thing with you guys, until we see Nintendo put some effort in with the N64 Nintendo app and emulation on the Switch, and with the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo and even the regular Nintendo Entertainment System, until they just fill and throw the entire catalog on those things, I just don't see the value in them. And I would much rather see you go spend $100 on an Ambernick portable device that can run all these things, and in some cases do it better than the Nintendo Switch. Not just from the fact that you can have all the libraries to each one of these game consoles on this device at one time, with the N64, with the Sega Genesis, with the Super Nintendo, with the regular Nintendo. If I wanted to, I could go get the entire library of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and N64 games and have them all on my Ambernick. Now, will they run perfectly? No. But the games that are shown to be running on the N64 emulator, guess what? Those games are going to run perfectly fine on my Ambernick. See what I'm saying? I need you to show me a reason as to why I should be investing into the N64 online services. I have it for $3 a month, and that's just so that I can play online. I don't even click on the Super Nintendo selection anymore, because it's not a reason to. I have an Ambernick. It holds every single N64 game, every single Super Nintendo game I could ever want to play and or care to play, versus having to pay Nintendo $60 a fucking year to access a very small portion of the games that I want to play. Nintendo, this is coming from a guy who's grown up playing your consoles, both portable and home core consoles. Put the entire fucking catalog on these services. That way, you come out as king of game preservation. Because if you're offering $60 a year to give me access to every Nintendo 64 game, I'm going to pay for it. But I'm not going to pay you $60 a year to gain access to the most popular games that can run on a fucking baked potato at this point. Shout out to Rich of Review Tech USA. I watch his shit all the time, and I felt like that comment fit perfectly right there. Those games are so old that, yes, I do believe the N64 games, at least the ones without the expansion pack, could run on a baked potato. Possibly even the ones who needed the expansion pack could run on a baked potato, if we're being honest. I'm just saying that it's the N64. I should only want to own a Nintendo 64 physically just for the sake of owning it, because it's my favorite console. There's no reason that anyone should feel the need to go right now, run out and buy a Nintendo 64 physically just so they could play those games, when there's all kinds of things. And remember, these consoles are supposed to be so fucking powerful. Why are these consoles so powerful, yet they still can't manage to figure out how to run games from the fucking 90s? PlayStation especially. You realize I was talking about my Ambernick and the Nintendo side of it, right? You guys don't even know my Ambernick can really play every PlayStation 1 game that I throw at it. I've had only 2 games, and they weren't even games I cared about. One of them was Animaniacs Pinball, and I don't even give a fuck about it. I was just curious of what it looked like, but it didn't work. So I'm almost positive it was a game because it's running things like Fear Effect, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, Mega Man Legends 1 and 2. I'm talking this thing's running Cool Borders 1, 2, 3, 4, Tony Hawk's 1, 2, 3, 4. This game is this system is running pretty high demanding games if I don't, if I really look at them. I mean, come on now. But it's a hell of a PlayStation 1 device. Why do I not sub to PS now? Because I can get access to every single PlayStation 1 game for free on my Ambernick through Ambernick. The device plays it and plays them well. They actually look good on that console because it's a small screen. Condensing the picture looks better for those graphics. And I can play them and enjoy them on my Ambernick versus paying, actually putting money in Sony's hands, which is where I would rather do, and which I would rather do is give y'all money for your legacy, but PlayStation doesn't want it. And I honestly believe Nintendo, with the way you did this, if you would lower the cost to $5 a month, one, nobody would argue with you. For $5 a month, not one soul is going to argue this. Oh, they raised it from $3 a month to $5 a month. And with $5 a month, I get access to the shit show of the N64, the shit show of the Sega Genesis, the shit show of the Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo. That's what I get. Well, it's $5 fucking. And for $5 fucking, that's a lot of games. Not to mention the current gen of games that you're now going to be able to play online. That's a lot of content. And also, some of these games now you can play with your friends and you could never do that before. So there's a lot of stuff here that $5 I could justify without even trying. I think the Nintendo Switch Online service with the N64, if they would have made it and bumped it up to $5 and included it in it, nobody would complain. I don't think anybody would be that upset. If I woke up on Christmas Day to my email and it was Nintendo and it said your online subscription is now $5 because we are giving you the N64 and the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and the original Nintendo all for $5 a month, I wouldn't complain at that at all. I wouldn't play Mario 64 no more or less because I have it through Mario 3D All-Stars, which right now I'm really trying to fight the urge about complaining about, or even just saying, hey, Nintendo, you really should have put in Mario Galaxy 2, and maybe you should have spent more time with the controls, the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on that game pack, and maybe spend a little bit more time in upgrading Mario 64 for me to find more value in your N64 online service. But that's for another day. I just wanted to make this real quick, and I just turned into this whole thing. But I wanted to make this real quick, and I wanted to point out how Nintendo, they literally could remain king of gaming, and they could hold the keys to gaming preservation, especially with the way these are applications on the Switch. You have an application, and it takes you to the N64 game list of games, and will... Same thing with the Super Nintendo. These are applications that are running these games that are running from the cloud. And honestly, if it was $5 a month, who's complaining? One person. Who's complaining at $5 a month? At $5 a month, all you get from Xbox or fucking PlayStation is the ability to play the fucking games online at this point. That's all you get. But hey, here we are. It's what we do, man. Anyway, I'm going to get up out of here. I just wanted to make this real quick because I had it, sitting in my mind, and I needed to make a video anyway. It's been a minute. I'm not going to make a video on Christmas because it's Christmas Day and I'm going to have family over here and shit that I'm going to be trying to avoid as is. No disrespect is, no disrespect is, I just don't like people. I just don't. I don't like people, and I don't like pretending that I like people. I don't like being in groups of more than 4 people, and that's not including me. Including me is groups of 5. So I don't like to be more than 5 people deep, and, that's just me. So I decided let's make a video and this is what we're doing. Now, what's the game gonna be? That's a good question. I haven't figured that one out yet. Should I do Should I do this voice thing? Should I do some Splatoon 2? Because I did buy Splatoon 2. If you're following my Twitter, you would know that. Follow my Twitter, link in the description down below. Same thing with Google Stadia. If you want to try Google Stadia out, man, there's 2 months, 2 months, 60 days 60 days of Google Stadia for free on your boy. Christmas is right here, 2 days away, 3 days away, 1 day away. Now, I'm not sure how many days away Christmas is right now, but it's the 1 year anniversary of me having joined Google Stadia, and I have paid Google Stadia for a year. And on Christmas Day, I will sit down and we will do a 1 year in-depth review while I play Cyberpunk 2077, the worst RPG of 2021. We will play on Christmas Day while we, at the same time, sit down and talk about all the good and the bad Google Stadia has brought within its second physical year and my first physical year as a Google Stadia Pro member. We will talk about it all, the good, the bad, everything, and that will be Christmas Day. That's what I'll do. So get ready for that. And I'm going to go now shoot the video to this audio. No idea what I want it to be. I'm thinking Splatoon 2. But as I scroll through my lineup here of my Nintendo Switch, I have no idea what to play. I have so many games on this thing. No idea what game footage to use. You know what? I think I'll use Immortal Phoenix Rising. Bleh, I can't even talk. Let's see. It's either that or I could use Saints Row 4 because I did just buy that. I don't know, man. I have to figure something out. I do have Spyro. All three of them are on my Ambernick, as well as the Reignited trilogy is on my Switch because I wanted to see the graphical work, and also because I never cared for Spyro on PlayStation, and it was on the Switch where I bought it, and I bought it on deep discount. So we're looking to see what I'm gonna play here, and I don't know what to tell you guys. So y'all just whatever it is whatever it is. I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. If you wouldn't mind, drop a like on the video. I know the dislikes don't work, but hit that like button, man. It lets me know that y'all watching. Lets me know that y'all are enjoying the content I'm making. You know, some interaction back and forth is always positive on this channel. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll, can respond in a good way to what's being said. I don't know. Sometimes I just, it is what it is. But until next time, you guys, as always, hey, yeah.
one big open sewer. But I'm gonna need